Aging buildings are getting new looks on the MSSU campus. I'm Lisa Oligas, and you're watching Newsmakers. In this edition, we look at a number of campus renovation projects currently underway or recently completed. Those include the May Student Life Center, Leggett and Platt Athletic Center, tennis courts, and more. We begin our conversation with Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Lisa Toms, and student Gerardo Martinez, who's on the Student Senate. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk about when a student moves to campus and dorms, they can spend a lot of time in a Student Life Center, and that is one area getting an upgrade. So give us a little history of that building, Dr. Toms, and was it due for renovation?
Oh, definitely. The building was built when campus was built. So actually a little later than that, but it's about 50 years old. And so no major renovations had taken place in the Student Life Center at all in that time period. It is a highly utilized space for our students. They enjoy going over there and just hanging out and playing games, studying, taking tests. All of those things happen in that space. But about 2 years ago, we had some water damage that came from the cafeteria upstairs, caused some flooding. It caused ceiling tiles to be misplaced, furniture to be damaged, flooring to be damaged, and that was really just the impetus for us to start looking at this space overall of what can we do with this space and what should we do with it.
And let's talk about like the goal of the designs and did you give student input? And Gerardo, you were one of those students who had to give some student input. What were some things that you were hoping to see or have happen in that space?
Well, I actually live on the resident hall side, so I'm used to I've been there for a couple of years, and it's a really fun place to go hang out with your friends. So over the years, for me, I really like the pool tables, and the pool tables are pretty old, so those getting an upgrade soon. And also the movie room, which is sometimes utilized. Turning those spaces into a newer, the newer versions would be really nice.
Yeah, and do students really hang out there for a long time? I mean, what does it mean to you to have that space?
So for me, it means for the resident hall students, we're all in our own zones when we're in our spaces, but sometimes it's nice to go to the other side, and kind of roll with each other and have some fun. So sometimes when we go there, there's pool going on, there's ping pong, there's sometimes the PlayStation is fired up. So it's a really fun space to go to meet your resident hall students and sometimes meet someone you've never seen before on campus.
So Dr. Toms, tell us, I mean, lighting can make a big difference in areas. And what are some of the things, appearance-wise, that will change about this space? I mean, we've had architectural drawings. Talk to us what's maybe added or going to maybe rearranged a little.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you that the gaming area is about in the same place, although expanded a little. One of the major differences, and I won't say because there are several, but one of the major differences to me is that we're going to have a glassed off space, we call that storefront space, for the electronic gaming to be internal so that there's because they get pretty rambunctious playing those games, and there'll be some sound barriers there for them. It's a tiered space, and so the bottom tier can be for those who are playing, and then the upper tier can be for those who are watching the play, because apparently that's a big thing now, is to watch others play video games. Also, if you on the space, and sorry I don't have a drawing with me, but as you come off the elevator right now, there's a wall. That wall is going to go away, and that is going to become way more open, although in the center of all that, you're still going to see, right now the students have access to a computer room. A lot of students will go over there and take their online tests because it's quiet and it's private. And so that will not go away, but it'll be more concentrated. There'll be fewer units, but there'll be more upgraded units, and again, there'll be more privacy in there so they can do better. And then the other thing I think they'll be really excited about is there's actually some different types of seating area. And so one thing, I don't think he remembers saying it, but I wrote it down, is when we were doing the focus group, there's a space, and I'm sorry, I don't do directions, but what direction would that be? The south side of the building, not in the gaming area, but the other area, that's just kind of vacant. There's really not being utilized, and we're going to put a coffee level, so a pub height bar there with pub seating, and there will be outlets for the students to charge their devices or to plug in their laptops or whatever. And so we think students will really enjoy that. And then finally, there will be some booth seating right in the center, so students can kind of hang out and just talk and socialize and have a good time.
That's one of the neat things about modern furnishings, which you want them to be comfortable, but they're also very practical then for students. More outlets, very important in today's world with everybody on electronics.
And more spaces for them that are flexible, so the seating can be moved, as well as I hate to use the word pods, but just areas where 3 or 4 or 5 students could get together and study or socialize, have a snack, whatever. But yeah, the movie room is going to be cool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are we now in this phase, and when are you know, in the project?
Right.
Have the bids gone out? Where are you?
The RFP is on the street, which means that within a certain time period, and I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, not very long, a couple of weeks, I think, we will be opening the bids for the project. And the understanding is that that project is probably going to begin sometime mid-spring. And the goal is to have it completed before school starts back in August. So when the students get back in August, they'll have a brand new facility to enjoy.
Yeah. Gerardo, tell us, how was it to be able to give input? Why is that important, do you think, on a university campus?
Well, sometimes, you know, I feel like it's important because, I mean, for me, like, I've always felt heard because I'm on the Student Senate, I'm on Campus Activity Board, and a lot of other programs, but those students who are, like, who live on the dorm side, but, you know, are doing their own thing, I feel like it's nice that Dr. Thompson, that group, gave them the opportunity to, like, speak, like, what they would want and what future students could utilize when, like, you know, we're graduated and have moved on. So I feel like that was a really fun experience.
Well, we certainly want it so that the students use it. So thank you both for sharing all about it, and we look forward to the renovations.
Thank you.
So much.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we learn about the big changes to the tennis courts on campus and the effort to make them new again.
Lions Forward is more than a campaign. It's our commitment to the future. Through private giving, we're expanding educational opportunities in Joplin and the four-state area, strengthening programs, and investing in our students. Many MSSU graduates choose to stay in our region, becoming the healthcare professionals, educators, and business leaders who keep our community strong.
Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we are checking out renovations on campus. And an area getting a big facelift has been the tennis courts. Joining our conversation are Andrea Cullors, Director of Kinesiology, and Gerardo Martinez with the MSSU Student Senate. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So, Andrea, MSSU doesn't really have a tennis team. So why did we want to then beef up our tennis courts?
Right. So a long time ago, they did have a tennis team, and so that's why the courts were originally built, and then the team ended. And the courts had kind of just really been worn out, disintegrated, were not looking good, but they're still being used. So they're being used by students, by community members, and so they were somewhat of an eyesore on campus. And then our department, being the kinesiology department, and especially with our two majors, physical education and sport and rec management, they have classes where they will use the courts either to learn how to teach kids to play tennis, and or there's the possibility of having tournaments where students can learn how to run a tennis tournament. And so we wanted to be able to use those courts in our classrooms and provide an immersive learning experience for our students.
Yeah. So tell us about the improvements. We had some video because we went there for when you had to kind of like the ribbon cutting and unveiling. But there obviously fencing was one of the big things that happened. Tell us about the other things.
So the fencing was falling down, and so we did get all new fencing. We also, it really kind of opened up the middle part. It was really high fencing amongst all the courts, so we kind of really opened it up. We made the gate ADA accessible, and then there was no sidewalk between the courts and the parking lot, and so we added an ADA accessible sidewalk, so someone can go now in a wheelchair from the parking lot to the courts, because people that are in wheelchairs can play tennis, and so making that more of an accessible space.
And this is truly open to the community, then.
It is open to the community, so which I think is what makes it really great. And we've had interest from some local high schools, and for practice there, hosting tournaments there as well.
Yeah. It took a little ingenuity to get the funding for this. So one big contributor was actually the Student Senate. Gerardo Martinez, tell us a little bit about the funds that you were able to share with this project.
So being on the Student Senate, we have access to money, which we give to clubs, we sometimes give to departments, but also I feel like this was like one of like the first kind of big renovations that we helped funded, which was really fun. So the Student Senate, we like worked together, not just me, but there were other students as well. And we kind of just made made a plan of how we could help with the new tennis court project back in the fall, I would say, right? Yeah. And then we kind of just went from there.
So it was like $30,000. Is that usually what you can allot to something, or was there some leftover funds?
Well, so we actually, the first funding that that was originally for was to build like a brand new like patios for students. But thanks to the new building, we were able to get that money back and basically use that money towards other things. And so we decided to use that money to give it to the tennis courts to be able to use to renovate the place.
So, and Andrea, there were another grants that you obtained. So tell us about those and how this was funded.
Yeah, the U.S. Tennis Association provides grants to communities, universities, and so we received a little over $58,000 from the USTA, which was fantastic. And so we received that. We received the funds from the Student Senate, and then the university has the Immersive Learning Grant. And so since the tennis courts are part of different classes, part of our camp for kids that we have in the summer that our students help teach, we were able to apply for and receive the Immersive Learning Grant. And then the kinesiology department also chipped in to help cover the cost.
How do we feel like this can benefit the student body as a whole? I mean, they're really open for use for anyone, or do you have to have your own rackets, or are there going to be supplies for those?
The library has a library of things, and so they actually have rackets and balls that you can check out. So if students don't have that equipment, they can check it out. We are working with Stephen, so hopefully in the spring or next fall, we can have some intramurals with tennis. And then we also have talked with the USTA in our region about getting leagues set up. So leagues for our students, a student club. So really trying to get the students out there and playing, but really the equipment is available for free for students to check out on campus.
Have you seen an increase in usage? I mean, the court itself looks better, even texturized. I mean, the surface was all nicely redone.
Yeah. When I've been out, I've seen some people using it. I have to admit, with winter or the past month or so, I haven't been down there much.
Yes.
But it is fun when people tell me, like, if their offices face that way, I'm like, oh, I saw people down at the court. Or so I think that it will increase usage. There's great lighting, and so it is one of the locations in Joplin that you can actually use courts at nighttime.
That's awesome. And I mean, you mentioned like at the summer camp, so it is kind of considered a life skill, right? Tennis?
Oh, totally, totally. It recently came out that tennis is the best sport like to prevent aging because it works on balance, it works on reaction time. You have to think when you're playing, and so it really uses all these different mental and physical components that they say is one of the best things you can do to slow down the aging process.
Are these adaptable as pickleball courts too?
As of right now, no.
Okay.
With the USTA grant, that was part of the agreement, was that we
Sport
don't adapt them initially. We'll look for funding at some point in order to adapt them. There is something called red ball tennis, which is like a short court. So you play with a softer ball and play with just the short court. So there is kind of different types of tennis that can be played with beginners. But pickleball, we hope to expand some of the courts or line them for both, but right now just tennis.
Excellent. And Gerardo, do you think students will embrace this?
I absolutely do. Thanks, because like I work in intramurals, so I used to like seeing like one of the things that we always get asked, is there tennis, but we really can't do that, with the way the courts used to be. So I think like going forward, now that the tennis courts have been finished and established, I can definitely see like summertime students go over and playing tennis. I even feel like in the winter, as long as you wear a coat and a hat, you're fine to play tennis. I really hope like this project, and now that it's finished, I really do see students using this space a lot more often than it was used to.
We may see an intramural program beginning soon.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you both for sharing all about the tennis courts.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
having us.
Thanks so much.
Time for another break. When we come back, we will check out the changes at the Leggett and Platt Athletic Center.
I learn best by doing.
I enjoy helping others.
I want to leave my mark.
Here, I discovered what I can do and who I can become.
What begins on this campus moves into studios, hospitals, and communities around the globe.
This is Missouri Southern State University.
Explore boldly.
Care deeply.
Impact globally.
One expanded mission built with lion pride.
Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we are talking about campus renovations, and it's time for an update on the Leggett and Platt Athletic Center. Joining us to give us the latest is Athletic Director Rob Mallory. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
So last time we were in Leggett and Platt, we were seeing the tearing out of the bleachers. they're back. That took some time, but they're back. They're in there, and you've got lots of developments.
Yes, that was a lengthy 17, 18-week
Wow.
process to get those new bleachers in, but they're installed, fully functional. We've got, the new track is down, and so we're rocking and rolling.
And you actually got to use the new track. Had a quick weekend of a track meet. Tell us how people reacted to the new track meet.
Yeah, so just last weekend, we hosted our first track meet in Leggett and Platte in several years. And, it was great just to be able to see our student athletes have a home competition opportunity. A lot of people that were very complimentary of the way the new track looks and the way that it ran. And just, the overall vibe in there was great. Just to have that activity, you forget just how many moving pieces there are to a track meet.
You
and
bet.
so to see that level of activity in the facility is exactly why we really pushed to get this project done.
And it's nice to be able to do it at home and without
absolutely.
travel. So what's the upside of having these new bleachers? I mean, were those utilized as well, or are they easier to bring in and out than the old ones?
That will be the biggest upside of the new bleachers is just the ease of ability to transition from a track facility to a basketball facility, or it is a true multi-purpose facility, and so to be able to use that to its fullest extent, being efficient in that transition is important. And these new bleachers will be, much easier to come in and out. They're designed a little bit more for multi-use facilities. The seats don't have to be manually laid down like the old ones did, and you can imagine. The process of both sides of those bleachers manually laying down every seat so that you could push the bleachers back. That's all much more automated in the new bleacher system.
Let's talk about the gym floor. It was going to be a future project, but it's a now project.
It is a now project. We are in the midst of installation of the new basketball court. Yes, originally the plan was to get back in, play some basketball in Leggett and Platte in January and February, and then do the new floor at the conclusion of the basketball season. But as construction projects go, we had some supply chain issues. We had some delays in the bleachers that took us, all the way through the month of January, really. And then at that point, we were down to 4 home basketball dates. And then in discussions with the flooring company, really around commencement, our spring commencement ceremony in May, made the decision that it was best for all parties to just go ahead and start that project in February. And so demo is complete. Working on, installing the new floor. That should be done by the end of March, and give us kind of 30 days for things to settle and cure in time for commencement season in May.
All right, so that's the end goal of being on schedule is commencement, right?
Yes.
All right.
That is
And are you pleased with the project so far?
Yes, absolutely. I'm this, phase 1, and let's remember this is phase 1, really intended to address those core infrastructure needs. The things that were original to the construction of the facility, but are core to its purpose, and we've done that. Once the floor is done, we will have done that.
And then phase 2 comes when?
And then phase 2, we're fortunate to have some charitable gifts in place toward phase 2 and some funding for that. So we'll get moving hopefully this summer on some of those projects. I think you can anticipate painting the facility, which will really change the look and the aesthetic and the feel in there. New video boards, scorers tables, and maybe some updates to our restrooms. So I think phase 2 will, by the time we're back in there playing basketball next year, there'll be a noticeable difference in that facility.
Well, we look forward to it.
Yeah,
All right.
so do I.
Thanks, Rob Mallory, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And we're taking one more break. When we come back, we get a progress report on the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center. First, a smaller scale renovation to create a PR lab.
Missouri Southern State University's mission now includes immersive learning, and that means even everyday classrooms are being transformed for hands-on education. This room in Webster Hall is becoming a public relations lab. Crews removed an old large podium-style desk to create an interactive space.
We're going to be adding 3 large video screens that come across here. And so this will be our whiteboard space, essentially. So this is where a lot of the collaboration is going to happen. Giving just a large, basically, canvas that we can put any kind of data or imagery on that students may want to interact with. We'll also provide opportunities for students to have iPads. We'll either give them, or if they have their own laptops or own iPads, they can submit content that they develop on those devices and then put it up on the screen for everyone to look at.
One of the classes I teach is crisis communications. Let's say you are handling a live crisis event. Say a snowstorm has hit the town and everything's going to heck in a handbasket. With this idea space, the idea is that every student will be able to connect and collaborate together in a single space to develop strategies, to sketch out potential responses, to brainstorm.
Dr. Trude will even utilize virtual reality for classes like crisis communication, which can immerse students in real-life scenarios that can demonstrate advertising concepts, like the need for insurance in a disaster.
VR has a lot of potential as a public relations messaging platform because it allows people to experience things they otherwise could not experience without putting themselves in actual risk.
While VR is an individual experience, the PR lab will also nurture group interaction.
So it allows just a larger classroom collaborative space than individuals sitting at their own laptops or computers. Everybody can see what's happening kind of collectively. And I think by allowing a large canvas for students to work on collectively and collaboratively all at one time, it just spurs on a lot more creativity and ideas.
So multiple screens, you could have live news feeds, you could have live social media feeds, and you can look at historical data and going back and seeing, how different tactics other people in similar situations have done and what kind of results they got. How much more engagement did they get? How many more positive responses did they get? How many more people took the desired action that they wanted? You can go back and see that and kind of use that as a guide as you adapt it to your unique situation.
Along with that, we're going to be adding a video conferencing camera to allow students to create like mock presentations. And so we could have clients from anywhere in the world dial in to a video conference experience. We have modular tables here so we can set them up as regular desks in the classroom or transform it into like a boardroom style layout also.
Giving students more tools during their educational experience, making them more valuable in the marketplace. With KGCS, I'm Heather Reynolds.
Welcome back to Newsmakers. We're talking about campus renovations, and our next one is actually new construction. The Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center, which will also be home to a new MSSU Welcome Center. Joining us for an update on construction are MSSU President Dr. Dean Van Galen and Associate Vice President of Admissions and Enrollment, Dr. Shelley Hewitt. Thank you both for coming to Newsmakers.
Great to be with you, Lisa. Thank you.
It is pretty obvious that with the exterior itself that major progress has been made on the Blunt Health Center. So, Dr. Van Galen, are we on schedule, on budget? How's it looking?
Yeah, we are on schedule and on budget. Very excited about the Roy Blunt Health Science Innovation Center, what that will do for our campus, our students, our community. And absolutely, the project has gone extraordinarily well. We have a great partnership with Crossland Construction. Corner Greer have been the architects, and it continues to be actually a little bit ahead of schedule at this point, and definitely on budget. So we're delighted with the progress of the project.
That's exciting. What are you most excited to see as it takes shape?
Yeah, I think in the end, when the semester begins next fall, to see the students enjoying that facility, both from a campus vibrancy perspective. I know the Welcome Center will be a lively place. We have a coffee shop that's going in. And then from the student learning perspective, there will be truly amazing hands-on immersive learning opportunities for our students in the health science part of the building. So, in the end, we're here for our students. Our core mission is education, and I think that building will be a beacon for what we stand for here at Missouri Southern.
Well, you mentioned the Welcome Center, Dr. Hewitt. This building does include a new space for that, which we haven't heard as much about. So tell us what's taking shape there. What can we expect to see?
Absolutely. So I think that the Welcome Center will be a game changer for recruitment and community building relationships. So the Welcome Center includes the admissions office, and so any prospective student, parent who comes to visit us is going to walk through those front doors and experience Missouri Southern. So they'll have the opportunity to learn more about the academic side of things, learn more about the admissions process. That's where the tours will begin. again. Another part of the Welcome Center is our Global Education Office is going to be there as well. So we are going to be able to showcase global education as part of the universities, as you know, our new statewide mission. And so having them a part of the Welcome Center is going to be really good for us to showcase that part of our statewide mission.
Well, it is nice that it's right there in front, and when you drive into the campus, it will be the first thing you see. You don't have to kind of wonder, where do I start?
Correct.
It'll be really
So
obvious.
we truly believe that when people are driving up to the campus, they're going to recognize it as the front door to our campus. And we're looking forward to having many prospective students and parents visit us, learn more about Missouri Southern, and also be able to show them, you know, the hands-on learning that is taking place on the other side of that building. So I believe that this new structure encompasses all three components of our new statewide mission. And so it's really a great way to showcase global education, immersive learning, and health and life sciences all in one building.
Right.
So we're really excited for that, and we're excited for, you know, parents and prospective students to walk in and just have a feel of, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, it's new, it's up to date. I noticed on a tour that the simulation hospital has some extra spaces for observing larger rooms and stuff. As you see it, what stands out, Dr. Van Galen, as immersive learning when you think about what's all offered there?
There are a few elements of that immersive learning. Certainly the simulation hospital, which has a series of rooms, acute care, NICU, operating room, others, just like a real hospital. And in the center of that space is a control room where our faculty and our staff leaders can develop scenarios and observe our students in different settings and environments. So that will be truly immersive for our students. You know, there's some other elements. There's a virtual reality learning center that will be part of that building. It'll be the host for the 3D printing center for precision health. And so throughout the building, this will be a place where students and faculty are engaged with their learning. It is very exciting. As
you've seen it take shape and grow, do you get ideas for more ways to use it? Like, oh, we should do this there as well.
Yeah, I think two elements there. The opportunity for interprofessional education. So you think of, we're going to have nursing students in there, but we want to make this more than just within a specific discipline. So how does nursing interact with pre-med students, with radiation technology, with respiratory therapy, with social work? And so there's an opportunity to view it not just as a health science building, but a resource for the entire campus. And then on the other side of the building, on the oval side, there's a really wonderful plaza that has been built that almost has an amphitheater type feel. So I can see many student and campus events being held there. It'll be a new space for campus vibrancy.
That's something we look forward to it being finished. Thanks for the update. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Lisa.
That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. Thanks to our guests, and thank you for watching.